Look at the book of 2 Peter for another illustration. 2 Peter. And talking about the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, verse 6. If he condemned the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah by burning them to ashes, but you know, we're told that Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed by unquenchable fire. Burnt to ashes. Look at book of Jude. Just come on a bit. Near the end of the Bible, just before Revelation, the book of Jude. Look at verse 7. In a similar way, Sodom and Gomorrah and surrounding towns gave themselves up to sexual immorality and perversion. They serve as an example of those who suffer the punishment of everlasting fire. Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed by everlasting fire, but some of us have been there and it wasn't hot. It's this fire that's everlasting in its effects. It's unquenchable fire that can't be put out till it's done its job. Remember, Peter said Sodom and Gomorrah became ashes. Remember Malachi? They'll be ashes. Remember Revelation 20? They'll be devoured. If I devour an apple, there's nothing left. So, it is tragic that for hundreds of years many Christians have believed that those who reject Christ will burn forever and ever in unquenchable fire. The Bible does not teach it. The Bible says the wicked will be ashes. The Bible says they'll be devoured. The Bible says they'll become as stubble. Remember what it says in 1 John 5. He that has the Son has life. That's verse 11. Then in verse 12 it says, he that hath not the Son of God has not life. Remember Ezekiel 18 verse 4. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. Remember Revelation 16:3. Every living soul died in the sea. This expression, living soul, is also applied to animals. Job says, shall mortal man be more just than God? There are 1,700 references to soul and spirit in the Bible, approximately 1,700. And in not one case out of 1,700 does it say that a person can exist consciously after their body has been destroyed. So in other words, the traditional view so popular with many and so scary to unbelievers unnecessarily is not a scriptural teaching. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. They'll be as ashes. They'll be stubble. They will be devoured. The Bible in 1 Corinthians 15 says the day will come when this mortal shall put on immortality. That's the resurrection. This mortal shall put on immortality. It says in the New Testament, God only has immortality now. God only. So the rest of us, as Job and other books say, we are mortal, and only when we accept Christ do we receive a principle of everlasting life attributed to us now, actually implanted at the resurrection. There's a New Testament statement that says, behold the goodness and severity of God. You must keep them both together. The goodness and the severity. God is severe against those things that do harm, that cause tears, that cause unnecessary pain. God is very severe about evil. One day his wrath will wipe it out, and those who choose to cherish it. That's the severity of God. But the goodness of God. Heaven's not going to be a place where you can look down and see people burning. It says every voice in heaven and earth and under the earth would be heard praising God. I tell you, if I was in hell, I'd be cursing him. The word hell that's found in the New Testament, when it's associated with fire, is based on the valley of Hinnom, which in the Greek language becomes Gehenna. And that's where the rubbish was burnt up. So one day outside the New Jerusalem, those that have rejected the love of God, those who have rejected Jesus, those who have rejected the cross, and who have no real life because they rejected him who is the life, God in his mercy puts them to sleep because they would never enjoy heaven, because heaven is a place where righteousness is esteemed and where love rules, and people in whose hearts love and righteousness have not become established would find heaven to be hell. So God in his mercy will put them to sleep. Let's take a break, please.